It starts as a small trickle just below the Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia. The mountain stream runs south where it crosses the North Carolina border. The brisk waters meander in ways only a natural, free-flowing river can while crossing Stokes County.
In our region, the rivers are one of the most important natural resources that we have. We have the headwaters of the Dan River, we have the Yadkin River, the Hall River, and the Mayo. All of these leave our region and go to other parts of the state and the country. So what we do here to protect water quality is really important to what happens downstream. PLC has been working for 24 years, and we've known the Dan River is one of the greatest assets of our region. Earlier this year, in June, we acquired a 130-acre parcel on the Dan River, part of the nationally significant stretch of river.
Here they pass by the ancient Sourtown Mountains and weave through one of the Piedmont's greatest treasures, Hanging Rock State Park.
The Dan River portion that is in the park has beautiful high rock cliffs. You can take your family canoeing, kayaking, tubing, or whatever, and it's not fast-flowing water, it's not deep, it's beautiful, it's more beautiful than people can imagine.
These cool waters provide refuge for a diversity of wildlife. Dramatic rock cliffs offer picturesque views for canoers and kayakers. Below the surface, trout and smallmouth bass prey on the abundance of crayfish, minnows, and aquatic insects that thrive in chilly, clean waters.
What makes the Dan River special compared to other rivers in the region are its scenic qualities. There's also a great number of fish species in the river that we like to target. So on a good day, we're going to catch a lot of smallmouth bass. In the upper reaches of the Dan River, there's a lot of trout. The North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission actually stocks trout in the Dan in the spring in the numbers of more than 7,000 fish.
One small yet noteworthy plant lives along the river's banks. The small anthered bittercress can be found nowhere else in the world except here in Stokes County, North Carolina, and Floyd County, Virginia. As the river enters Rockingham County, the waters slow, become more silty, and encased by higher banks and wider floodplains. The river skirts by Ballew's Lake and passes fields that have been farmed for centuries.
Well, several of our rivers in the region are our primary sources of drinking water. The city of Greensboro, city of Winston-Salem, all of our local municipalities get their water from river water. So it's a lot cheaper to keep that water clean and have it for drinking water than to have to filter it out.
In Madison, the river receives a boost of energy from the Mayo River. Upstream, the young Mayo River State Park continues to establish itself.
We've put together about 2,000 acres that are now part of the Mayo River State Park. So as the Mayo State Park continues to grow, we know those protected lands are going to provide a nice buffer to that public recreational resource.
If you could float back in time, you might well pass by Native Americans building fish weirs, structures which still exist today. Or you might witness the passing of American hero Nathaniel Greene or Lord Cornwallis during their famed Race to the Dan. Today, you'll simply pass through a quiet, peaceful sanctuary, free of much of the noise associated with modern society.
Most people's first reaction when they see the Dan is just how scenic it is. They can't believe that there's these rock-lined cliffs along the river, all the different species of fish, and the different species of birds that we have. We can see ravens along the river as well as bald eagles and osprey.
Piedmont Land Conservancy considers the Dan River one of our region's greatest natural assets. Although no part of the Piedmont is untouched, the upper Dan River Basin remains among the Piedmont's wildest, most pristine places.
People don't want to canoe up and down a river where there are houses all along it. They want to see nature. They want to see deer crossing the river. They want to see the blue herons going up and down the river. Here today, we're on a 5-6 mile canoe trip and we've not passed a single house. It's remarkable that we're this close to Greensboro and Winston-Salem and this connected to nature.
Earlier this year, PLC purchased 180 acres in Stokes County, including nearly 2 miles of frontage on the Dan River. This addition brings our total protected acreage in the Dan River watershed to over 4,500 acres.
PLC covers such a large area. We cover 9 counties across the Piedmont. But as we've learned recently, if our rivers get decimated or polluted, our region as a whole is going to suffer.
Many of these places are publicly accessible. We've helped add over 1,700 acres to the Mayo River State Park and nearly 500 acres to Hanging Rock State Park, including the much-admired Flat Shoals Mountain.
I'm very excited about that piece of property. I'm glad that I get to be a part of it from the initial beginning, acquiring a beautiful piece of land that will always be available to the visitors of North Carolina. It's a wonderful piece of property.
And the Night Brown Nature Preserve near Stokesdale, with its 3 miles of trails, protects a tributary to the Dan River. Your support of Piedmont Land Conservancy makes our work along the Dan River possible.
The one way that we can for sure protect resources like these is by making a contribution to Piedmont Land Conservancy. We can take those contributions and leverage them through grants and foundational support, and we can protect thousands of acres of property and beautiful rivers such as the ones that we're on here today.
While we've made great strides, much more remains to be done.
Patience is a blanket in an
I want to tell people more about what Piedmont Land Conservancy and these places do, because what happens is there might be a vital piece of river or land that really needs to be part of the park. If a piece of property comes up for sale, they can save it for us until the time comes that we can make it part of the park.
Our goal here is simple: protect the Dan River watershed so that future generations can enjoy its beauty, recreation, and history.
Piedmont Land Conservancy plays a vital role in helping to preserve these areas through their stewardship program and providing easements on these properties. It'll help future generations be able to enjoy these pristine areas.
Tonight, as you drive home, know that your contribution to Piedmont Land Conservancy has helped protect places like this, the Dan River, the farms of our region, the wildlife habitat that we all enjoy. Your gift makes that possible, so thank you. For our sponsors, thank you for coming to Land Jam. Thank you for all the support you've given Piedmont Land Conservancy over the last 24 years.
Please consider a gift to PLC today. Together we can create a legacy of clean water, abundant wildlife, and protected lands for everyone to enjoy.
From my window, it's over. Yes, it's over. Waiting for the summer winds to blow. Waiting for the summer winds to blow.